When you mention meat production, most people think of cattle and sheep, but more goat is consumed worldwide than any other red meat. In the past, goats were often considered pests, consuming valuable pasture. But in actual fact, these hardy survivors can be beneficial in many ways and can make your whole operation more profitable, particularly if they're run in parallel with other livestock.
Goat is a very popular meat, and eaten correctly, it is a great meat.
12 years ago, Boyd Webb and his father Graham diversified their sheep and cattle enterprise to include goats, running up to 6,500 nannies on their 34,000 hectares north of Longreach.
One of the things that is different with the goat industry to, say, the sheep industry or the cattle industry is it's still in its infancy, and there's a lot of opportunity for people that want to create their own markets to go out and do it.
Those markets are getting easier to find.
The industry's had the greatest growth it's seen in a long while. We were up about 30% on volume last year and about 40% on value. We've seen prices rise about 50% on this time last year. So at the moment the industry's really got a great opportunity ahead of it. It's really rising to the challenge.
Growth in the export market is credited to a shortfall in mutton, while here at home, increased retail availability, widespread exposure through TV programs such as MasterChef, not to mention food service sectors and home consumers clamouring for something new to put on the table, mean goats finally getting a look in.
We're seeing it a lot on restaurant menus these days. Certainly a lot of chefs are seeing it as something to design their signature dishes around. But also too, we've had various retailers featuring it in their retail cabinets.
But how difficult is production? The Webbs started by mustering rangeland goats, then buying in additional goats and adding improved genetics through boars.
Every time we bought goats where there was a training session involved with them, where it was a bit similar to weaning, where we kept them in the yards, we fed them, we used to shepherd them out or tail them out every day. And over about 10 days, 2 weeks, they went from being as mad as March hares to being quite civilised.
Like any new enterprise, among the benefits were a few challenges. To contain the goats, fencing was upgraded. A plain hinge joint with a barb on top and a wire along the bottom proved the most effective. Then there was the predator problem.
They are also susceptible to wild dogs or dingoes, foxes, eaglehawks, but there are ways around this. Trapping or poisoning methods for dogs and foxes. People use llamas. We actually had some Marima dogs for a few years.
There were also some unexpected benefits.
I always imagined that goats would be very hard on the pasture, the grass pasture, and that was totally untrue, because in actual fact you can run more goats on grassland and they won't devastate the pasture anything like sheep will.
That's because goats are selective or mixed feeders, preferring species ignored by sheep and cattle, a factor which for the Webbs provides the biggest benefit: woody weed control. Previously they'd had to regularly clear land using a bulldozer and chains to keep timber at bay.
The country that we put goats into stayed nearly as good as the day we first cleared it, and then there's a country there that we didn't clear and we put goats into, and they made a significant difference. Well, this area was all cleared in the mid-90s, and we put a fence in and we ran goats on this side and sheep and cattle on that side. And as you can see, this side's got a lot less woody weeds and timber encroachment than what this side has. These trees here have all been controlled by the goats. Had we not had the goats in this paddock, they would have all been bushy and full of green leaves and possibly 10 foot tall by now, so they've done a great job.
Goats are useful in opening up country for subsequent grazing by cattle or sheep. In southern states, they're used to regenerate pasture previously overrun by bracken fern and blackberry. And when grazed in combination with cattle, goats can break the cattle parasite cycle. These adaptable and flexible eaters provide great benefits in the control of woody weeds, as well as a potential income stream. And with goat, the most widely consumed meat in the world, the opportunity exists to significantly grow Australia's market.
Certainly goat on the export level has got an opportunity there. But also too, like I said, at the domestic level, there's a whole new market opening up for goat meat. So I would say, at least for the next 5 years or so, there's a great opportunity that the goat industry really has to take.
And that means ensuring a continuous supply of consistent quality.
whilst these opportunities are emerging, the goat industry really needs to formalise a lot of its supply chains, really start to look at focusing on those opportunities and making sure that it has the right product throughout the year to supply all those various opportunities.
Weed control, income diversification and a growing market are all solid reasons why goats have become a serious option for livestock producers. And Boyd Webb will be watching developments with interest.
You know, the infrastructure's there, and so we can increase or decrease as the market determines. And we do have the option of that extra income coming in off country there that possibly might not be as productive.